INI. An innovator is someone who has an interest in investigating or questioning things. An innovative entrepreneur explains his role in his company as a creative catalyst by channeling new ideas into the development of the business he is running. Based on the study above, students of the Department of Management Faculty Economic need to understand the importance of innovation in business and what has been done in the outside world. Therefore, it is deemed necessary for us to hold an innovation business festival with the theme creating value and innovation in business competition. And we hope that this can be a provision for students and academics on the Faculty of Economics, Universitas Negeri Malang. And as the head of the Department of Management, Faculty of Economics, Universitas Negeri Malang, I would like to thank all management leaders and lecturers who have contributed and to committee who organized this event. And I hope this conference will be useful for all of us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we begin, I would like to invite Mr. Andrew Agil Nurahmat to lead us to have a prayer so that our today's event will run well and fruitful.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we start our conference this morning, let's pray together. Allow me to recite this prayer with Islam dua, and for another religion audience to adjust. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hamdan syakirin hamdan na'imin hamdan yuwafi ni'amahu wa yukafi mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karimi wa 'azimi sultanik. Allahumma innaka ta'lamu anna hadhil quluba qad ijtama'at 'ala mahabbatik waltaqat 'ala ta'atik wa tawahhadat 'ala da'watik wa ta'ahadat 'ala nusrati syari'atik. فوثق اللهم رابطاتها وأدم ودها واحدها سبلها واملأها بنورك التي لا يخبو واشرح صدورها بفيض الإيمان بك وجميل التوكل عليك وأحيها بمعرفتك وأمتها على الشهادة في سبيلك إنك نعم المولى ونعم النصير. اللهم هون علينا في سكرات الموت. اللهم هون علينا في سكرات الموت. اللهم هون علينا في سكرات الموت والنجاة من النار والعفو عند الحساب. سبحان ربك رب العزة أما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. Syukran. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew Agil. It is hoped that our ceremony will be in Allah's blessing, inshallah. We will now hold a photo session for all keynote speakers. The panelists and participants are welcome to take a position and turn on the camera. For Professor Sukri. Okay, be ready. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you. So now please allow me to introduce our moderator this morning, Mrs. Arum Prasasti. She is one of the lecturer or management department Universitas Negeri Malang, concentrating in marketing management. Please welcome our moderator to introduce our keynote speakers and lead the seminar session for this morning. Mrs. Arum Prasasti, the time is yours.
Thank you, Bu Adel. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you everyone for the chance for the moderator today. Thank you for keynote speaker, Pak Hasnul Suhaimi, Professor Sukri Saleh from University in Malaysia, and also Ben Roido from National Central University, Taiwan. So today we have three outstanding speakers. We will do the session, each for them is 45 minutes and followed by question and answer. The first session will be Pak Hasnul Suhaimi. So he will be ready and share his expertise here. So before we start, I will read the bio of him first. At the moment, he's the lecturer in MMUI and IPMI in Universitas Indonesia. And he is also an advisor in Pegadaian University. He's also executive and business coach. And also a previous position, he was the CEO of XL in 2006 to 2015, and he's also advisor of Bukalapak from 2016 to 2020. And he received several awards from Telekom Asia CEO of the Year 2011, also CEO of the Year from Frost and Sullivan Asia Pacific from ICT Awards in 2011. Also, he is the top 20 most admired CEO based on Warta Economic in 2013. So, his education, he studied electronics engineering in ITB Bandung, and also his Master of Business Administration in University of Hawaii at Manoa, United States of America. All right, so I think Pak Hasnul Suhaimi already here and he's ready to present. So the floor is yours, Pak Hasnul.
All right, thank you very much, Bu Arum. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Everyone, good morning.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Morning.
Ya, yang terhormat Pak Eli Siswanto dari pimpinan
Thank you.
Departemen Manajemen Fakultas Ekonomi Malang, Pak Didi, organizer, dan Bapak-bapak Ibu-ibu pimpinan Universitas Malang dan event ini. All right, I'd like to start my presentation talking about creating value by using innovative ideas, innovators DNA. Before that, let me share the slide, Bu. Pak Didi. Should come from me. Ya. Pak Didi, biar saya aja, Pak. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Before I start,
will share. Yeah.
Before I start, I would like to ask first, among all of us, 314 people, I'd like to ask, are you innovators or not?
I hope. We hope. We all hope.
Please, everyone, raise hands. Yeah, use your virtual to raise hands. Anyone you think that you are innovator, raise hands, please. I would like to see how many of us really innovators in this seminar.
Okay, attendee, you can raise hand.
Raise hands, yeah, virtual hands. No need to raise your actual hand. Okay, I think most of us will be innovators. The question is, what is the difference between innovators and not innovators? Common people and innovator. What are the differences? Yeah, that's always the question people ask actually. What is innovation actually? What is the difference between common people and innovator? Everyone, I'd like to answer it in one simple example. Yeah. Okay, this is what one expert say. Innovation is seeing what everybody has seen, so everybody will see it anyway. But thinking what nobody has thought, that's innovators. A lot of definition, but this is the simple and touch the ground one, which is called I'm practitioner on top of academician, but I think this is better definition. Seeing what everybody has said, but thinking nobody has thought. Let's see an example. This person, Mr. Yun, CEO of Samsung Electronic Unit. Yeah, he's still there, I think. He started, actually, electronic unit, Samsung Electronics Unit started in 1970, making chipsets for Sanyo. So this company built TV, for instance, microwave electronic, and then sell it Sanyo. Sanyo put a brand name and then sell it for higher price. Mid-90s, low-cost manufactured products for Dell, HP, GE. Me Too on-brand consumer products for TV, microwave oven, low image. Low image, remember, low image. So if you think about Michael Porter, will be on the left side, cost leadership, low price, low, more or less low quality, low image. 1996 in trouble, severe competition, excess capacity. And then 1997, Asian financial crisis all happened, which happened to Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and Korea, not South Korea. And this company almost bankrupt. The country almost bankrupt, the company almost bankrupt. What will a person do? What will company like Samsung Electronics do? Or what will CEO like Mr. Yin do? Everyone, he is an innovative person. So he's seeing that his company almost bankrupt, but he's thinking differently from other people. Usually people say that, oh, I'm almost bankrupt, the country almost bankrupt, so what do I do? Close the company. Not him. This was his decision. Instead of quitting, Mr. Yin decided aggressive new strategy. Aggressive strategy while you're almost bankrupt. Yeah. What did he do? Develop and market technically superior products, digital technology. That's what he did. Develop something new, which is very expensive, and create and design attractive style by 450 designers, London, Tokyo, Shanghai, and San Francisco. He hired them. Yeah. Building Samsung new image, stylish, high quality brand, using top agencies, sponsoring top sporting music events, including Olympic, commanding a premium price. Crazy enough? You don't have money, your company almost bankrupt, your country almost bankrupt. You create something so big, so high end. You are on low end side. Michael Porter said, you're on low end. What can you do? Lower the price again? No, it go back and increase the price. Create new product. That's what he did. Successful or not successful? Results in 11 years, not only 1 year, not 11 months. It is 11 years. 2008, after 11 years of total efforts, Samsung took over Sony as the most valuable consumer electronics brand in the world. Yeah, high end. Yeah. Unit sales grew to 100 billion US dollars in 2009, operating profit of 10 billion US dollars. 10 billion US dollars, I think, as much as telco revenue in Indonesia, total telco revenue in Indonesia today. That's only profit in 2009. This is the impact, the result of innovative person. Yeah. So this is my opening. Now, I'd like to show something. Any Indonesian example or not? And how to become an innovative person. I think that's what we need to see a bit more. Yeah. Let's focus on this one. I joined Excel in 2006. My target, from my shareholders, saying that we want this company to become number 2 in 2009. 3 years. I give you 3 years contract. Yeah, I was CEO of Indosat at the time, but they hired me because they think that company should be more aggressive, and Excel is more aggressive than other companies actually. So what is the definition of become number 2? Market share should increase from 10% to 20% in 3 years. Okay, I think it's a fun, it's a fair offer, and it's fun company to work for. So I moved to Excel from Indosat. So CEO of Indosat, number 2 already at the time, moved to Excel, number 3 in Indonesia. Okay, I created what I create as vision, commercial vision actually, not the company vision, commercial vision. 1, 2, 3. 1, number 1 in quality. 2, operator number 2. 3, in 3 years. Everyone, if you want to create something new, if you want to create some transformation or change in your company, start with a clear vision, simple vision. 1, 2, 3, so simple. Number 1 in quality, everyone knows quality. Operator number 2, just know that market share should increase. And 3 years, actually my contract, actually, I put it there. Yeah, because vision is usually what you want to achieve in the coming 3 to 5 years. I took only 3 years. The vision was quite clear. The path down the road looks like so nice, but reality is not that easy on me. Okay, reality really, really tough at the time. I moved to Excel September 06, and I found out that January to June, 6 months in a row, 07, our revenue flat at 14 billion daily. We didn't increase at all in 6 months, while the market grew at 25% average. Market leader grew at 20%. Asia, number 4 at the time, grew at 60% year on year. We didn't grow at all. So instead of being number 2 in 3 years, maybe becomes number 4 or maybe number 5. So that was the challenge I faced. Similar with Mr. Yun or not? I think maybe his challenge much more than me because the country was not bankrupt, almost bankrupt at the time. His country was bankrupt. My company Excel didn't bankrupt, but we didn't grow. That's the point. So not as good as Mr. Yun, but something I have faced also. Now with the situation, I think I will not drop my vision. I will not drop my company's vision. 1, 2, 3 comes number 2. Let's continue. But how? That's the question. And at the time, I learned from everyone actually. He said that why don't you try something innovative? Do things differently. Differently is different. Eh? Look at this, the letters here. Differently. What does it mean? Get something out of the box. Do it better than others to create and get what you want. That's the idea. Okay, let's try. I actually, when I was in MBA program, we learned about innovation, but lately I learned about this book, Innovators DNA. What did he say? I think Pa Ali already explained in his speech just now. He said that everyone should dare enough to challenge the status quo and take risks. Okay, how to challenge status quo? Do questioning, observing, and networking. Okay, on top of that, do some experimenting, and out of this one, associate, connect the dots. The dots from questioning, from observing, from networking, experimenting, connect the dots and create something better than what you see, better than what you question, better than your network, and better than what you experiment. Something bigger, innovative thought. Then your company becomes better, becomes more competitive. That's what the theory said. Usually theory is easy, execution not easy. But somehow let's start it. Let's try. Yeah? Start step by step. Okay, let's start with questioning. What is questioning? Asking questions to understand why and how things might be changed or disrupted. Yeah. See what happened in the market. See the situation, the strategy. Look at what the competitors do, what the customers do, and what are the changes, and then from there ask, what can I change or disrupt so my company becomes better or your business becomes better? That's the idea. Okay. What I said at the time is, this was my question. Yeah. I look at the price. Telkomsel price as market leader was 1,500 per minute. Today, about 10 cents per minute. 10 US cents per minute. Yeah, slightly higher than 10 cents. Maybe 11 something, 11 cents maybe. Our price was only 1,000 rupiah per minute. So 2/3 of Telkomsel, 33% lower actually. Our cost 900 rupiah per minute. The problem is Telkomsel with high price selling very well. Why our product don't sell at all? Our product doesn't sell at all. Everyone confuse me. Why? Now this is a question. Yeah, questioning. Why they are selling very well? Why we are not selling? Why? That's what you do. And why others? Okay. In this case, I'd like you to help me, or everyone, please help me. How, Suni, what is the answer to this question? Why did our SIM card didn't sell at all? Yeah. For this one, let's go to Mentimeter. Pak Didi, how to get to the Mentimeter, please?
Okay. We're setting up.
Anyone? Yes.
Yes.
Great. Everyone? Have you? Yeah, go ahead. Facebook.
Okay, student, you can go to menti.com and use the code 690849, and then you think about why XL SIM card doesn't sell compared to Telkomsel. Okay, we are waiting.
One simple word, two simple words, or three simple words is enough. Yeah, please help me. Why? There was a questioning. Innovators always question why, and then what can I do later on? But why first? Yes, we are waiting, everyone.
Okay, everyone, go to menti.com and don't forget to use the code 690849, and then you answer with one word or two words why XL SIM card doesn't sell. Just a short answer.
Branding. Thank you, sir. Oh, ma'am. Need a more aggressive marketing strategy. Great. Our branding not that good. Need more aggressive strategy. Yes. I want to see 350 of us. So without me, maybe 340 at least. Yeah. Quality, not as fast as .com. Need to be faster. Yeah. Okay. Quality of network. Yes. Not enough quality. Yes. Maybe. Branding is not good. Not aggressive enough, not enough quality. I think you know Excel, yeah. No, it's at the time though. Today is better than them. Quality, network quality. So if we put it in the tab, maybe on top it will be quality, yeah. Quality. Because they already know and use other SIM card, so they have already comfort with other SIM card. Yes. Loyalty, bad quality. Call your customer like high quality of network. Yes. Okay, last 30 seconds so we can continue. Please give me your innovative ideas. Quality, we know it already. What else? What else on top of this one? On top of quality, please. Can we bring it down a bit?
Scroll.
Scroll there. Not in this one. This next question.
Sebelumnya.
Yeah, just scroll if possible. If not, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad signal compared to console. Customer trust area, hard to reach signal. Customer concern and trust. Network coverage. They already know and use bad quality customer. Okay, quality in most part will be quality and brand and trust. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks so much, Bu. Thanks so much, everyone, for the idea. Let me come back.
Sudah, Pak.
Sudah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much, Bu. Let me continue. Thanks for the help. Quality, brand. Okay. Now let's me continue. This is what Michael Porter said. You need to find your space, right? If you want to go more aggressive in a company, go two ways. First will be quality, product uniqueness, differentiation strategy, called, or cost, low cost leadership strategy. One or the other, not in between. If you are in between, Michael Porter said, you are stuck in the middle. Okay. Now, let me see. What is my option? This was the situation. On quality, product uniqueness will be number one with Telkomsel. That's why they're selling very well. You are right. Thank you very much, everyone. And number one will be Indosat. And we were number three, slightly in the middle, stuck in the middle. That's what Michael Porter said. On their side, low cost will be Asia. I remember I said that they grew 60% because they are really low cost. So the more you are to the right, the more you are good. The more you are to the left, will be more low cost, something like that. Yeah. Flexi, Axis, three friends. So all of us, actually, they were 10 players, but this is the most important one. So looking at this, we are not at the uniqueness, and we are not also on the low cost. So we are somehow stuck in the middle. Yeah, there was a situation. Okay, let's continue then observing. After questioning, let's observe. Carefully watching customers, products, services, companies to gain insights and ideas. Okay, my product, they don't buy my product. My position, maybe strategy, I made a wrong strategy. So why should I do this? Let's do something else. Okay, but before that, observe the market first. Okay, I observe the market. I sent a team to the market and also directors. So we were all the way in Excel to see what happens actually in the market. We found out that market really prefer SMS. They were in love with SMS. They really hate calling. Why? It's very expensive, they say. Is it? Yes. 1,000 rupiah. Yeah, today 1,000 rupiah is what maybe 6 cent US dollar cents. Expensive or cheap? We thought it was cheap. Actually, market said it is very expensive. Okay, and then next, when we move to the next one, we are not selling. Telkomsel selling. Option will be differentiation or quality or low cost. Market wants low cost and do some networking. Let's test the ideas through a diverse network who vary widely in background and perspectives. At the time I said that I can go see other market, telecommunications market, or Indonesian other industry, or other countries different market. But at the time I choose to go to send a team to India. Please check to India because I found someone said that India is unique at the time, 2007. So we sent to India and then we found out that in India, the price per call was only 15% of the actual price, 150 rupiah only per minute, not per call, yeah, per minute actually. Per minute was only 15% of actual price. So Indian price was very, very cheap. Yeah, 85% less than actual price or 90% less than Telkomsel price. Now from there, we find the idea. Okay, questioning, observing, and networking. We find the ideas. Okay, now time to associate, connect the dots. Make connection across seemingly unrelated questions, problems, or ideas. Okay, what is in my mind? Indonesia, 1,000 rupiah per minute, 40 minutes per month. This is another thing. We found out that the traffic was only 40 minutes per month. So people only call Indonesia 1.3 minutes per month at a time. So our revenue will be 40,000 rupiah per month. Okay, while India, 150 rupiah per minute, extremely crazily cheap, but the volume was very high, 500 minutes per month. And total revenue will be 75,000 rupiah per month equivalent. So which one is more getting revenue, more revenue generator, low price or high price? Looks like low price is one way to go. Okay. For this one, we said that maybe we can find some idea. What to do? We move from the big guys game to becomes to the low cost game. So we move from product uniqueness, but we are following what Telkomsel Indonesia is doing. Move to the new market, what Asia is doing, but not really copying them. But this something different. What we call it cost differentiation. Here will be high quality, high price. Here will be low quality, low price. We said that high quality, more or less high, yeah? Not really high as Telkomsel, but comparatively we are better than others. So, quote unquote, comparatively high quality with low price. That's what Nekopota said in his latest thesis, that cost differentiation. So we took this route. So what we did, we changed the business model from premium to low cost, from maybe Malaysia Airlines or Singapore Airlines to Air Asia. Totally business model change. Okay. And I have to change, I have to revisit to update my vision. 1, 2, 3, stay with 1, 2, 3. But number 1 in quality, operator number 2 in 3 years, 2 and 3 stays, but number 1 becomes low price. Yeah, I have to be agile. I have to drop. We are not there. I launched it only 3 months and then I changed it already. Low price, yeah. Operator number 2, number 1 in the price or something like that. Operator number 2 in 3 years. It was our updated vision. Everyone, this was my strategy. Price decrease, and then get subscribers increase as much as possible. Get a volume increase, huge volume, high volume, so our revenue will be increasing. Okay, with the increasing revenue, cut the cost and profit also increase. That was the strategy. Okay, and let's move to the last part of the innovators DNA, experimenting. Try, and learn from that, and then improve to the execution. Experimenting, visit new places, try new things, seek new information, experiment to learn. I did the last one, experiment to learn. What we did, we design thinking actually at the time. Okay, first we tried with pricing. Remember, Telkomsel price 1,500 per minute. Our price was 1,000 per minute. Our cost 900 rupiah per minute. The question is, I want everyone to help me also. How much should I price? The ceiling was Telkomsel 1,500. The floor was 900 rupiah, my cost. How much should I price my product? Everyone, what is the suggested price? Let's go back to Mentimeter. I want you to decide. Yeah, I want you to become CEO for one because it's so difficult for me at the time. Yes, Bu Arum.
Yes. Everyone, go to menti.com and use the code. Will be shared. Okay, use the code to answer this question. What is the suggested price? So go to menti.com, use the code 690849, the same code.
1,500,
Okay.
great, thank you. Copy Telkomsel, yeah, because 1,000 not selling, so let's get the revenue, right? 1,400, 1,000, okay. 1,200, 1,200. 500, wow. All right, I want my friend, we say 500 to talk. 1,200, 1,000, 1,200, 1,250, 1,250, 1,200, 100, wow, 100, 900, 2,000. Increase, yeah, 2,000, okay. I see 2,000, the most extreme one. 100 is the most extreme one. 1,200, 1,200. 1,250. Okay, last 20 seconds, please. Yeah, like a bidding now. Okay, I want to talk to the person 2,000 with 24 hours quota without movie. Okay, application quota. All right, wait. Now, I want to talk to the person who said 100 and 500. Our cost 1,000 rupiah. Now you want us to sell at 900 first. 900 is ini apa nama, kerja bakti, right? Your cost 900, you sell for 900, you get zero profit. Now a friend here is bunuh diri, suicide, said at 100, so your cost 900, you sell 100. Yes, please. Can you talk, please, my friend who said 100? What is the reason behind it? Why 100?
Anyone who put 900, maybe you can talk and tell him the reason why you put 900 as the price for XL. Anyone?
You want to hear from you, sir? Oh, ma'am. Ada yang tadi bilang 900 dulu lah. 900 first. We want to hear from you. It's okay, right or wrong. This is innovative game, right? Innovators take risks. Now you take a risk of talking, which is no risk at all. Please, I want to hear from you. Why 900? Oh, maybe if you're not comfortable, write it on the chat room, please.
Yeah.
Why 900? Yes, 900, 100, 500, and 2,000, please. For friends. Do you want to say 100, 500, 900, and 2,000? They were some extremes. Yes, please write in the chat room if you're not comfortable.
So please, if you put 900, 100, and 2,000, please put your reason in the chat room.
Innovative game. Remember, innovative people take risks. And you see something others not see. 1,000 not selling, you said 2,000. My cost 900, you said 100. That's why I said it. The extreme ones. 500. Ya, ruginya 400 rupiah.
Is raising hand, Pak Hasnul?
Yes, go ahead, please. Yes. Yes, someone who need raise their hands. Go ahead, please talk.
Okay, please, Dwi Joko Susanto, are you here?
Please unmute.
Please unmute. Okay, I don't think he's responding.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay, Bu. It's okay, Pak. Let's continue then. Because, why I ask that? Because in the game of innovation, sometimes we do some crazy thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why I asked 500. You want me to lose 60% of 40% of my revenue, right?
Mhm.
And 1,000, 90% of revenue we lost because of that. Or 900, meaning I have to work without salary then because no profit, right? But this one, let's see. Okay, let's go. Then let's make continue, yeah. Okay, Saskia said,
Yeah, Saskia said, yeah.
it's kind of promoting, but maybe only for 3 months. Oh, okay. 3 months increase price when the target is raised. Oh, okay. So go 3 months with a low price and then increase after that. Great. Thank you very much, Saskia. Thanks for the idea. Let's see what was my option. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. We will close the Menti. Okay.
Yes, thank you. Now let me come back to my slides. Okay, suggested price from 100 to 2,000. Which one should I use? Okay, everyone, I picked the, I want to know actually who said 100. I picked his suggestion.
Wow.
I don't know her or he, yeah? Maybe Saskia, I don't know. I picked 100. So my decision was sell 100 rupiah,
Mhm.
cost 900 rupiah. Okay, my boss asked me, how much is your profit? I said 10%. When it was 1,000 rupiah, 10%. Now I said 100 rupiah, also 10%. But give me 3 years. I said, I give you 10% profit by selling 100 rupiah. Okay, Mas Dwi Joko, you want to say something? You raise hand. Please say something.
Mas Dwi Joko.
Okay, no, it's okay. Okay, everyone, 100 rupiah. But not really 100 rupiah selling to the market, you die. That's suicidal, ya, bunuh diri. We need to be creative and innovative in every steps of your execution. First will be pricing. How to lower the price 90% from 1,000 to 1,100 rupiah, but revenue increase day one, straight away. Usually if you cut the price 50%, your revenue will drop into half, right? If you cut the price 1/3, for instance, your revenue will be 1/3. Now we cut only 1/10 your price. 1/10 your price. Revenue will be 1/10, yeah. I said to my guys, no, I want it to be the revenue will be increased 1 day after we launched the product. Everyone, took us 7 people, 7 weeks. They work only half a day in 7 weeks. Yeah, start from VP, GM, manager, and 1 assistant manager. 7 people and 5 directors. 7 weeks. Our director only once a week. They work only half a day and they work half a day for this one to answer this question. Yeah, and they asked me actually, what is the solution, Pa? I don't know. I'm not innovative enough for that one. It's your job, not mine. My job is to create vision, 1, 2, 3, and strategy, low price. How much flow? 100 rupiah. Guys, they are so good. This was what they gave me. They said that don't drop the price just like that. Drop the price from 10 rupiah per second because average will be between Excel will be 600 rupiah, which is 10 rupiah per second. Drop it to 1 rupiah per second, 1/10 exactly. But after 2 minutes normal price. This is innovative pricing. Everyone, do you see why this is called innovative? I didn't see it actually, but after they explain it, I understand. They check that actually every call in Excel at the time, duration was only about 1 minute, 57 seconds actually. So if we give low price after 2 minutes, our revenue already double. Company revenue double already. And customer get a cheap price if they call longer. So with this one, yeah, remember our arrow will be this one. They force them to create high volume first. Because if not high volume, you're not getting the cheap price. But high volume, our revenue also increase. 2 arrows, 3 arrows already. Lower the price, but that increase the volume and increase revenue. Yeah, that was the idea. This is how innovative person create some innovative idea. Okay, great, good. And I asked, how do you advertise it? Call 2 minutes normal price, and after that give you 100 rupiah per second. Nobody will understand that. So they give me this creative advertising. What do you think about it? 1 rupiah per second. Sama Excel, that's all. Tarif termurah. I said, it is good, but where is the 2 minutes? Yes, Pak, 2 minutes there, somewhere there, down there. So small here. Hey, you are kind of out of the law. But he said, no, as long we write down, it's okay. I said that you are cheating, not cheating actually, because it is really cheap, but you have to sell a lot, as you said. Yeah. And more on top of this one is, I'm a bit scared of sending this advertising to the market, because we are sending it with 125 billboards all over Indonesia 2 weeks before Ramadan. So I said, it's too much, difficult. But I said, Pak, somehow it is a great idea and we don't have time to change it. So let's take a risk. Everyone, the risk at the time will be not easy actually to me, but somehow we take a risk. Okay, let's go. Take a risk. What happened? We launched it in July 2007. And actually, one day after launching, our revenue really after 1 month or 6 months flat, our revenue went up. One day after launching, went up. Every day, always went up. Yeah. And in 6 months, our revenue went up 50% already, from 15 billion, M means billion actually, milliard actually, yeah, to 22 billion per day. So 50% raise already. Everyone in Excel was happy, but not our competition. Yeah. So our competitor said, hey, 6 months you took the market. So what happened to us? And then suddenly market leader said, I compete with you now. 1 rupiah per second, they compete with 0.5 rupiah per second. Do you think that Telkom says that cheap? Not really. We took 2 minutes upfront, which is 1,200 rupiah. They took they only give them 1 minute only, but 2,750 rupiah upfront. Looks like half of Excel price, but actually more than double Excel price upfront. That's how it's seen. This company is very smart actually. I'm proud of. I was director of marketing for Telkomsel for 2 years actually, 98 to 2000. Great company. So when it's compete with this company, not easy. So they give us that. Because of this, our revenue becomes flat again. So we need to do something. We have to drop it again to 0.1 rupiah per second. Now we are competing with each other. We are on a good shape. But remember, the market was 10 players, so everybody dropped their prices. Asia dropped the price, Hutchinson also dropped the price, Smartfren dropped the price. But because they are not our levels, we said, it's okay, don't do anything. Until Indosat dropped the price to 0.01. Okay, our revenue flat again. So we need to do something and said that 1.1, 0.01, 0.001, too long. Yeah, let's stop it. We said that let's take all the zeros. We put one line of zeros. Yeah, satu baris zero to stop Telkom Indosat from competing with us again. Hey, Telkomsel Indosat is not that stupid. Yeah, they're also smart people. They put 3 lines of zero. Dijamin pasti. So everyone at the time, all of the billboards in Indonesia, all the TV spots in Indonesia was taken by telecommunication operators. Yeah, so we compete like really crazy. What happened? Everyone now, because the price, everyone dropped the price. Telkomsel from 1,500 becomes 200. We were what, 100, and everyone between 50 rupiah to 200 only. Indosat 120, Asia about 50, 60 rupiah, something like that. So we grew together. So everyone happy now. Yeah, revenue increased from 6.4 in Excel case, 6.4 trillion to 8.3 to 12.1 trillion, almost double in 2 years. Yeah, everybody happy now, but my CFO not happy. He said, no, our revenue increased, but bottom line under question. Originally, our profit was 10%, down to 3%, and 2008 we lose 15 billion rupiah. And then the more we grow, the more we lost. And then the bottom line. Everyone, we need to do something. Okay, how to do that? We need to transform the company. What happened? We said at the time, Excel moved from cat, Persian cat, to a cheetah. We need to work fast, eager, and lean. What does it mean? Total transformation. Yeah. Technology focus to customer focus, silo to teamwork, bureaucratic and fat becomes lean, relax, santai inside becomes eager, and compete inside. Usually we compete inside to strong outside. which we change everything. And everyone should think about how to cut the cost. Example, yeah, tower, very expensive. 60% of our BTS investment goes to tower. So how to lower the cost of tower? One guy said, "Pak, cut one of the legs." Oh, you break them, it becomes ini nanti ambruk nggak? No, he said it's still very strong, but the cost is lower. How much lower? 25% lower. Said, okay, good, let's try. We tried, works very well. So we go with this 3 legs tower. We need to work fast. Why? Because our price is so cheap, volume went up so high, so we need to build the capacity very fast. Now we change the process. How we do it? Take all the process, map it, and then anyone with give add value, put any green color, the rest will white, and cut, erase all the white ones. So the new process will be so simple and so fast. What's the impact? In 2004, we built 900 BTS per year. 2011, we did 900 BTS per month, 12 times faster. Number of people same. They would still work normal hours, no need to go to midnight. No, they still no work normal hours, normal stay. Just changing the process. And on top of this one, we embed the culture of cost-conscious company. We cut everything except salary and marketing. The rest we cut. Yeah, travel expense, tower, overtime expense, at least 29% lower than others. Yeah, so our cost of tower, for instance, 40%. So in 1 year, after losing money, 2008, 2009, our revenue went up to 14 trillion, over 20 trillion, and our profit from minus 15 billion to becomes 1.7 trillion, 13% already. I promised my shareholders 10% in 3 years. We reached 13%, 13% profit already in 3 years. So overachieved in 3 years already. And this is the end result after 4 years. Tariff per minute 1/10, 100 rupiah. Subscribers, we get 4 times subscribers, from 9.5 to become 40 million subscribers. Revenue went up 3 times, 17 trillion. Traffic increased 30 times. Yeah, but employee only doesn't increase. 4,000 in, 4,000 out. Why? We increase productivity yet first, and later on we increase to 6,000. But at the time we stop it there. So become people will work faster, we work more eager, and profit went up to 4 times. 2010 our profit was 2.9 trillion, 2.89 actually. It is 16% profit margin. So selling 1,000, cost of 900, profit margin only 100 or 10%. We sell 100, cost 900, profit margin was 16%. And market share went up as targeted, from 10 to 20%. We become number 2 in 4 years, 1 year later. Okay. We create customer value. Now people can call anytime, very cheap. So from 40 minutes per month becomes 400 minutes per month. Okay. We create company value. Yeah, our share price went up from 2,000 in 9 months, 2,000 rarely in 9 months, January 2010 until November, from 2,000 to 5,000. So company value went up from 20 trillion to 50 trillion. So they call me CEO 30 trillion. Not my salary, but it's the value I create, we create actually in Excel with this innovative strategy. And we create also share value. Yeah, so in Bahasa Indonesia, what he said is, when I lead Excel, what we did is only to help the company to make the company competitive, but this innovation also impacting the country, impacting the society, because we kind of give low price and everybody follow this. So all telecommunication price in Indonesia are very cheap. So they will call it give the freedom for Indonesian telecommunication society. That's what they said. A compass, yeah. And makes employee happy. That's more important part. Not only us happy, employee also should be happy. Everyone, this is my sharing how to use the creative idea of innovator's DNA: questioning, observing, networking, experimenting, and connect all this learning into associating, create better ideas than what you observe, what you experiment, what you ask from others through networking. Okay, with that, I'd like to give the floor back to Bu Arum for discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Hasnul Suhaimi, for a very interesting topic. So, if I may conclude, the key takeaway from your presentation is XL in 2016 aimed to be number 2 in 2009, but instead of increasing the profit, you minus 50 billion rupiah, and also you managed to bounce back XL to 12.1 trillion profit in 2011. So that's why you've been called CEO of 30 trillion billion rupiah. Okay, so we also found out that the innovator DNA by questioning, observing, and networking, and then we implementing, experimenting by associating all of them. Okay, so now it's time for question and answer. So I would like for the participant to ask question directly to Pak Hasnul, or if you're not comfortable, please write a question in the chat room and I will deliver it to Pak Hasnul. And also, if you are not confident in using English, students, you can use Bahasa and I will translate to Pak Hasnul. Okay, so it's time for question and answer. We have 15 minutes for question and answer. Any question, everyone? Question? Okay.
Fitri Andriani. Fitri Andriani, raise hands.
Okay, Fitri Andiani,
Yes, please.
silahkan. Please.
Mungkin nggak bisa di itu kali ya, unmute kali ya. Oh ya, Fitri, go ahead. Please unmute first.
Fitri, please unmute.
Or maybe host can unmute her, yeah. Maybe.
We already unmute her.
Oh, already. Mbak Fitri.
Fitri?
Okay, while waiting for Fitri, anyone would like to ask through chat room also okay? Go ahead, please.
If no one yet asking, can I ask you a question, Pak Hasnul?
Sure.
Okay. So, does innovation has to come through those 3 items you mentioned: questioning, observing, and networking? Is this a must, or how it should be?
Oh, okay. Okay. I give one example using this book from Dyer, yeah, talking about 5 ways to do it, which is innovators DNA, yeah. Questioning, observing, networking, experimenting, and associating on top of this one. Okay, this one of the ideas. The other ideas will be scamper. What is scamper? Scamper is vertical thinking. If you look at one product or you look at one company, what you do is scamper it. What is scamper? S substitute, C combine, A is adapt, yeah, M is modify, P is put to other use, E eliminate, R is re-engineer. So this is scamper. Everyone, please take a note and look into ini Google later on. Google it. Scamper. SCAMPER. This is another good tool. Yeah, with this you can create a lot of good ideas. Remember 3M? 3M actually come from failed product, which is unsticky glue. Stick but not stick. Apa tuh? Lengket tapi nggak nempel gitu. Nempel nggak lengket. It's something like that, yeah. But they can create something great. They call it 3M Post-it. So what is the P1? Put it to some other use. Okay. And then, for instance, combine. Okay. Do you know the chat time? Chat time. Today, people are learning up to buy chat time, right? What is chat time actually? Somehow the idea is to combine, bring with quote unquote snack, and make the dream becomes fun because you disedot kan ya. So it's fun. So you combine snack and drink become fun. That's combining, number 2. This kind of thing. You can do substitute, combine, and put to other use at the same time. Okay, all one by one. That is another one. And also the next one will be currently bit more popular now in startup in the company. Design thinking. What is design thinking? It's simple. They call it empathy, define, ideate, prototype, and test. What does it mean? Empathy. You need to really go to the market, talk to them, and if necessary, work with them, see how they do the business. For instance, they're calling. How do they do calling? Observe it until you really know insight about the customers. And after that, define what the really problem with them. Now, remember, Steve Jobs always said, find the problems in the market, customer pain point. If you see pain point in the market, you create pain relievers, pain in market, pain relievers, and the pain relievers become your best-selling product, something like that. Yeah. So what you do after you go to the market, you really know empathize and define what it is and create the ideas. How to create the ideas? Create at least 5 radical ideas to solve the customer problems. And after that, create prototype. Yeah, maybe in business plan, or maybe in the shape of product itself. Yeah, in my class, usually at the end of semester, we ask them to create something new, maybe new startup. And what happened? They create the mock-up already. When one group, actually S1 undergrad, they create batik for youth, and they really write down and bikin and produce it and then bring it to the class. This is my prototype. Now they can test to the market. Is it something you want or not? Something like that, bro. So there are 2 other things. And I said that Universitas DNA, Scamper, design thinking. At least these 3 things you can create actually.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pak Hasnul. It seems that we have a question line up already. So this is from Anonymous. I don't know why he doesn't give his name. The question is why XL choose to reduce cost of call? Why not to messaging?
Oh, okay. Good idea. At the time, SMS was big, but revenue not that big. Revenue was only 30%, and voice was 70%. So the impact, if I want to be number 2, if I go with SMS texting, the impact will be 3 years will not be that big. So I need to do something big on a big product, big portfolio of my product. So we did it on voice. But in 2008, so 2 years after that, early 2009, we also dropped the price of SMS. Yeah, so we did it, but we start with the big one first and go with the second one later on. Okay, that was the situation. Thank you for the answer, for the question.
Okay, so thank you for the answer, Pak Hasnul. The second question, would you give some example of implementation on the innovation DNA to the small medium enterprise or another industry aside from telco?
Okay, actually, in MMOE, we have what we call it for thesis. We have some business coaching ideas. Okay, so for thesis, the student can go to UMKM, so SME, small medium enterprise, and then help them to grow. They really use this University DNA actually. What happened? They check first. They check the business process. They check business model canvas. They write down business model canvas, not the sophisticated one because it's SME, but somehow you can create business model canvas. And then from there they analyze. They question, why you do this? Why you do that? Why not this? Why not this? Why not that? And then after that, they said that, okay, ideally, based on the best practice, this is what you should do. Okay. And then networking, that's only questioning and observing. Observing business process, observing business model canvas, and questioning. Why this? Why that? Why not this? Why not that? And then get some ideas. And then networking. In this case, they network with the mentor, which is the docent, the facilitator, the teacher, and also networking with the theory. So based on this theory, actually, the best should be this, best practice. Right? And after that, they try experimenting with the owner of the SME. And after that, they create, okay, based on this one, let's improve here, here, here. And that's what happened is the company didn't know how to go and sell online. And currently we are online. So they help them finally to find out that online is the solution. And then go online and selling to online. But remember, selling online is not just selling the same product. They need to change the product, they change the promo, they change the price, everything is changed. So there is example for SME. And a lot of ideas created by these students on that product. Itu Bu. Hopefully answer your question.
Yeah, very comprehensive answer. Thank you so much, Pak Hasnul. The third question from Pak Haris from Pasca FEB-UM. So his question is a company or small medium companies to be a lower price company has to have a big capital first to become to find a market? Do they need to be suicide first? What do you think?
Thank you, Pak. Yeah, a lot of people ask that question actually. Should we do it now? Should we do it as well? No, it should not be copying what Excel is doing. Yeah. What you should do is check with the market. At the time, why I was really kind of dare enough to do this strategy, because the market was not growing very fast yet. So if you look at the business life cycle, introduction, grow, mature, and decline. Grow, actually, we divide into two, which is grow, original growth, and disrupted growth. Now, Indonesia was really in disrupted growth. Yeah, and we see that out of 260 million people in Indonesia at the time, the SIM card, active SIM card, only 70 million. The prospect at least will go to, say, 200 million, for instance. So we still have room to grow. Now, and on top of this one, we saw also that the business is really fixed costs much bigger than any variable costs. So if fixed cost will be much bigger than variable cost, one BTS is there. If you can get as much as possible, as many as possible call in there, traffic in there, and the cost will be very, very low. That was the calculation. So if the fixed cost is low and the market is growing, you can go with low price and get a volume, high volume. But if the fixed cost is low, variable cost is higher, be careful. You cannot do that. But if you still want to do that, that's fine. Yeah. So what we should do, easily, you need to find a low cost production first. You know where to need. It's okay actually. Like for instance, I saw now shirts, for instance. If you know where to buy the raw materials, you know where to buy the new, and the cost is cheaper than others, you can go there. But don't do it if you think that you can do it in 3 years, like what I did. Maybe not the right way to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Hasnul. So I think that's all the question we have. Oh, one more question. We still have around 3 minutes. So what would you do if the market were price competing?
Okay, good question. At the time, the most problem was actually my boss always asked me, are you sure that the 10% profit margin will you get in 3 years? I said, yes. How do you know it? I don't. But based on our calculation, our cost can go 10% lower than 100 rupiah in 3 years. But whether it will be there or not, there are some risks. One of the risks will be if competitor know it and did something early. So before we get customers coming in, we can get more customers coming in. We can get market coming in, profit ini, volume coming in. The competitors already start doing the same thing. So we lost at the beginning. But if we can do it without competitors really know it and compete with us from the beginning, we can do it. Now, that's why we have a strategy at the time. First, it should be really quiet. We need to prepare it. 4 months preparation, actually. So in 4 months, nobody can talk about it. Nobody can leak it. So competitors should not know it. That's the first one. And second thing, I thought one of the ideas is, he said that, no, Asasha, what is her name? It should be 3 months, something, right? That's what we did also. When we launched it, we said it only 3 months. Yeah, we meant 3 months. So July until September. Berlaku sampai September. Okay, so competitors said, oh, they will do it low price and then increase the price after that 3 months. They said that one. Okay, now after 3 months, we extended another 3 months. Oh, competitor said, okay, last 3 months. And after that, Arsenal will increase the price. And after that, we extended another 3 months and then they compete with us. So that's why 9 months, no competition at all. But after 6 months. After 6 months, Telkomsel start competing with us. But 6 months is good enough for us to jumpstart our brand name, jumpstart our customer base. A lot of customers already coming in and revenues. So coming to the question, what if the competitors start from the beginning? They did it. Actually, they cannot do it actually. Because preparation for this one, you have to change your business process. You have to change also your planning. Your network should be very big. Telkomsel network at the time were already full. So you need to have big capacity. They need at least 4 months to compete with us, 6 months actually. Now, they're late in anticipation for 6 months, and after that, you need to get us 3 months also. So actually, competitively, we were 9 months ahead. So that's what we need. But if they compete from the beginning, maybe we lost it already. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for Bapak-Bapak, Ibu-Ibu from Universitas Malang. Really great session. Hope all the best for you all. And I want to see 300, over 300 people, 300 great students becomes great innovators, great entrepreneurs in the future. Thank you very much. Maaf kata-kata salah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih. Thank you so much, Pak Hasnul Suhaimi, for the engaging session with our audience. And I see that there are still some questions left for Pak Hasnul, but due to the limitation of time, we will go to the next speaker. Ready? So we have here Professor Muhammad Sukri Saleh. Welcome to our session, Professor. I will read his short bio first. So Professor Dr. Muhammad Shukri Saleh is the honorary professor at the Center for Islamic Development Management Studies, or ISDEF, in University Sains Malaysia in Pulau Pinang, Malaysia. He was the founding director of the center, and he pioneered a new field called Islamic Development Management, and he's currently an adjunct professor in Faculty of Islamic Development Management, and also in University Islam Sultan Syarif Ali or UNISA in Brunei Darussalam. Okay, during his 39-year tenure as an academician, he was appointed by 18 universities and academic institutions in 7 countries: Malaysia, Jordan, Arab, Saudi Arabia, Japan, United Kingdom, Brunei Darussalam, and Indonesia. Okay, so he studied Bachelor of Social Science from University Sains Malaysia, Diploma in Economic and Master of Art, Rural Study from University of Anglia, United Kingdom, and Doctor of Philosophy, Islamic-based development from University of Oxford, United Kingdom. So the floor is yours, Professor. You might start the session right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-azim. Astaghfirullah azim, astaghfirullah azim, astaghfirullah azim. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to be together. And Alhamdulillah, I have learned a lot from Pak Hasnul just now. It's very technical, and so because it is very technical and also very micro, so probably my presentation is quite different. I would like to take you to a more philosophical things, and also more macro, and we would like to see the big picture of the innovation and values in Islamic business. So I would like to share my screen here. Yeah, the title of my talk today is very simple. I'm trying to do my best to get it in line with the themes of the conference. And the title is Innovation and Values in Islamic Business. We are going to talk about innovation, and we're going to talk about values, and innovation and values from Islamic perspective to be adopted, to be applied in Islamic business, inshallah. So definitely, as Pak Hasnul has shown just now, innovation is very important. And in fact, innovation is commendable because innovation reflects the creativity of someone people, especially like Pak Hasno as a CEO, to maximize accomplishments of the objectives of the company or of the business. Yeah? Apart from that, innovation also means creating new things. It is not actually modifying. It creates new things, and without modifying it, so we can see that the business world now have changed and erased a lot of things that we have done before. So for instance, definitely ways of communication, the smartphone with the online, all that. And then also the demise of the Kodak, for instance, the film camera, as opposed to now we are using the digital camera. And I can still remember that when I was young, I used typewriter to write my thesis. But then now we have computer, and we can hardly see any computer anymore, unless if we go to the antique shops and all that. And we can see also the kind of business, the online business, such as Amazon, Alibaba, and all that happening. And actually, we are changing it to a new things, which probably, as Sada was saying, that that we are facing with 3 tomorrows. The first tomorrow is the present things that we are doing, the present, and then the familiar futures, the familiar futures, that we are very familiar with the things, and the other one is the unthought futures. And when I go back to my young age, what I'm facing now at the moment is actually unthought of. Yeah, unthought of, because I don't think that I can't think of anything that, like smartphones, computer, and all that. So it erase some things and then it create new things. And innovation, that is innovation, which means that it completely creating new things. For us, ideally, if you were to take, if you were to have a complete innovation or an ideal innovation, so we have to say no to 3 things. We have to say no to 3 things. Number one is no imitation. So what's we have heard from Pak Asno just now, Pak Asno created a kind of business to maximize the profit in sorts of ways without imitating from the ways that are available in the market. And the other one is no competition. Definitely, Pak Asno just now was looking at the competition, but then an ideal innovation, I think we don't have to think about the competition. What we need to think is just to create new things. And if we need to compete with the other people, they have to compete with us. They have to compete with the arena that we establish. And we can learn from Pak Asno just now that he created kind of the stages of the price of the SIM card. And then when he set the arena with the rules, and then the other telco comes in to compete. So we are not actually competing, but we are creating the competition with our own rules, with our own regulations. And this is innovation. Like that, no imitation. Why no imitation? Because we want to be the leader in business. In order to be the leader, we have to be innovative, and innovation means that we are leading the business world. So, say for instance, what probably Steve Jobs was doing, and Bill Gates was doing. I think they didn't imitate it from anybody else, but they are creating new things, and the people are demanding it, and then the market goes as successful as we have seen. The other thing is not benchmarking. If we were to benchmark our endeavor, our business endeavor, on a company that we see successful, I think we cannot be the leader in the business, but instead we have to be the followers. By the times that we try to catch up with what we are doing, and the company that we put the benchmarking has moved towards, has moved upwards, and then eventually we live as followers, not as leaders. So in order to have an ideal total innovation, complete innovation, so we have to hold to the principles that hold to the principles that no imitation, no competition, no benchmarking. Yeah, and then if you are seriously thinking of innovating, if you are seriously thinking of innovating, so we need to create new operational mechanisms. And this new operational mechanism has to be within the new philosophical framework. So with the new philosophical framework, with the new operational mechanisms, then we can produce new kinds of products. We have to produce new kind of products. We have to produce new ways of production process. We have to formulate new ways of transaction, and we have to have a new ways of wealth, of profit, revenue accumulation, and also we have to have a new ways of distribution, and also new ways of consumption, and so forth. So all are new, and the basic principles of all these new operational mechanism within the new philosophical frameworks are the 7 principles. The first one that we need to have is a new mode. This is very important, the philosophical underpinnings. We have to create our own philosophical underpinnings, and then setting that philosophical underpinning as our mode, yeah, to run our business. And then number 2 is to create a new actors with that philosophical underpinnings, the actors of business, especially in our company. We have to create them to be a new kind of actors as opposed to probably the existing kind of actors. And also the new time scale. We heard from Pak Asno just now that firstly, the promotion is 3 months, and they extended to another 3 months, they extended to another 3 months, totally 9 months. And it is more of a short-term time scale. Yeah, but we need to have a new time scale, which will I explain later if it is look from Islamic perspective. And then also we have to have our new framework, new methodology, new means, yeah, new instruments, and the new ultimate aim. Bear in mind that what we are going to innovate is the business from Islamic perspective, based on Islamic perspective. So for that, I think Islam is able to offer such a complete new innovation as a replacement of the conventional business with distinctive philosophical underpinnings, and then through operational mechanisms that may seem the same. I'll explain later on. But then the 7 principles that we need to have is number 1 is the mold. The molds, the philosophical underpinnings of the Islamic business when we are dealing with the innovation is definitely the Islamic worldview. So we can't base our innovation, our business innovation, on the conventional business worldview, because we need to have an Islamic tasawwur, Islamic worldview, and then we have to have the Islamic epistemology. And this, the worldview, the Islamic worldview and the Islamic epistemology will become the molds of our business innovation, inshallah. I was saying also that we have to have new actors. What I mean by new actors here is the vicegerents and servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the functions of the actors, the business actors, is no more a profit maker, but instead they are dealing with the business, with the innovation, as a vicegerents, the Khalifatullah, vicegerents of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and simultaneously as the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is our role, this is our functions of being here in this world, to be the representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to manage the world here, and also at the same time, we have to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a servant. So meaning that the actors are also changed. The time scale, Pak Asno was giving 9 months just now as an example. But if we were to innovate from an Islamic perspective in Islamic business, we have to have a longer time scale. We have to take into account our pre-birth world, alam malakut, where we promise with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alastu bi rabbikum. Allah asks us, do you agree that I am your God and you are my servants? And qalu bala shaydina, all of us were saying that, yes, we do. This is the master plan of an actor to be being in this world. And then now we are in the present world. To show to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to prove to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that what we have promised with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what we have agreed during the previous world, are now we are now doing it, we are now executing it. And whatever that we have done, including our business, it is part of our proof to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we follow our promise with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And definitely the third world is the world hereafter, where the rewards or the punishment will be faced by us based on what we have done in this world, whether we have fulfilled the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the pre-birth world. So the time scale is longer. Anything that we think of a business, so we think of what will happen to us in the world hereafter. It's not merely for this present world. And number 4 is the framework. We have to have a new framework, and the new framework is the obligatory knowledge. All of us have to have our obligatory knowledge. In Arabic, we call it Fardu Ain, which consists of Tawhid, Fiqh, and also Tasawwuf. So Tawhid is dealing with Aqidah. So in executing our Islamic business, in innovating our Islamic business, we cannot depart ourselves from our faith, from our Islamic faith. And then the execution of the things that we are doing in business, we have to base on the Sharia, the regulations, which we learn from fiqh. And also at the same time, we have also to have a nice attributes, the mahmudah, which we learn from tasawwuf. So this is the framework. The obligatory knowledge is the framework of the Islamic business innovation. And number 5 is the methodology. Methodology is the worship, the ibadah. In whatever that we do, including in innovating our business, we need to think and we need to ensure that actually what we are doing can be regarded and accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as ibadah, as worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So every second we need to remember this, we need to fulfill this worshiping to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore this is why I call it the methodology. And definitely number 6 is the means, the means, and natural resources are the means to fulfill or to execute, to implement, to realize the innovation they were aimed for. And lastly, we have to ensure that our ultimate aim is not the revenues, our ultimate aim is not the profit, but instead our ultimate aim is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mardatillah. And inshallah, by having the mardatillah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will have the benefit, we will have the revenues, we will have the the Prophet will have the al-falah, hasanah fid dunya wa hasanah fil akhirah, inshallah. So these are the 7 principles that we need to follow in innovating our business from the Islamic perspective. I mean to say that actually it's not the innovation itself that must be Islamic, but the business itself must be Islamic. So, and then inshallah, the 7 principles will guarantee such a phenomenon. This innovation definitely comes together with Islamic business values. With Islamic business values. We were thinking of Islamic business value. We can divide the Islamic business values, and in fact, the Islamic values into 2. Number 1 is the basic values, which is based on the Tawheed, the Khalifatullah, the worship, the tazkiyah, purification of our souls, and also Ihsan. This is basic values that need to be possessed by the Islamic, by the innovators of the Islamic business. But then apart from that, there are number 2 consequent values. Consequent values, when we have the Tawhid, Khalifah, worship, Tazkiyah, and Ihsan, inshallah, we will have a good attributes, the Mahmudah. And then it will come together with honesty, transparency, justice, integrity, perseverance, determination, innovation, respect, passion, fair-mindedness, and all the good attributes they're supposed to be having by a Muslim, inshallah. One may probably think, all these good attributes maybe seems to be quite similar to what we find in the conventional business values. For instance, the conventional business values divided their values into 2. Number 1 is what they call intangible values. There's integrity, perseverance, determination, innovation, respect, passion, and fair-mindedness, as what we have found in the consequent values of an Islamic business. And then apart from that, the conventional business values also consist of tangible values, which is monetary assets, stockholder equity, the fixtures, and also the utility. Even though the terms used seems to be similar, but actually the meanings are very different. It is very different because our values, our Islamic values, are entrenched, are based on Islamic basic values, whilst the conventional business values are not based on that Tawhid, Khalifah, worship, Tazkiyah, and Ihsan. So therefore, the integrity to conventional business values are different from the integrity from the Islamic business values. Or also the justice, for instance, the justice is quite different. The determination, and we have to go back to what we mean, what Islam means by justice, by transparency, by integrity, by tazkiyah and all that, as opposed to the integrity and all the terms that have been defined by conventional business value. So what I'm going to say here, and I think I don't have much time to explain the differences, but enough that if you can agree that actually the conventional business value are very different from Islamic business values, even though the terms used are quite the same. All right, but nowadays, we have to beware of the so-called Islamic values. We have to beware with the so-called Islamic values because now I think we have been trapped by contemporary trend now, at least through 4 ways. Number 1 is what I call universalization of Islamic values. Number 2 is the sanctification of Islamic values. Number 3, the realignment of Islamic values. and number 4, accommodation of Islamic values. Let me explain briefly what I meant by all that. Universalization of Islamic values. It means that some of our brothers and sisters are similarizing Islamic values with other religious, with other cultural or ideological values to be accepted by all. Say, for instance, like just now when we talk about transparency, when we talk about transparency, the conventional business, people will say that we also pro-transparency, but transparency to them is quite different from transparency that we're having in Islam. But there are people who tend to similarize the values, similarize the values. Similarize the values in order to say that, look, our Islamic values are universal, and therefore all people have to be accepted, have to accept all that values. All that values. I think this is very dangerous. It leads us to confusion. So, for instance, we hear a quite popular findings of a person who went around to all over the world to see the Islamicity, the so-called Islamicity of the state. And he comes out by saying that Islam can be found, the Islamic practice can be found more in the Western countries, more in the non-Muslim countries rather than in Muslim countries. And therefore, they tend to summarize, they tend to conclude that actually, non-Muslim are practicing Islamic values more than the Muslim themselves. So I think this is wrong. This is wrong. The first is that why, how can you say that there are more Islamic while they are at the first place are not even a Muslims? So you cannot say that someone who are non-Muslims are practicing Islamic values, sedangkan they're not Muslims. I think this is a wrong concept and wrong perspective. And this is very dangerous, I think, because people are trying to similarize that. Say, for instance, we heard people saying that Japanese, Singaporeans are more clean than the Muslims in Indonesia, in Malaysia, and all that. But the concept of cleanliness is very different, because the concept of cleanliness to the non-Muslim probably entrenched in the hygienic things, entrenched in what they can see from the ayn, from their scientific, from their scientific observation, based on facts, rather than in Islam. It is not that we have to have the hygienic environment, but apart from that, we have to have the tazkiyah. When the term tazkiyah came in, the purification comes in. So the prerequisites to have the prerequisites of the cleanliness, Islamic cleanliness is quite different from the non-Muslims, right? That one. The other thing is the sanctification of Islamic values. Many people are tends to rationalize the Islamic values via scientific reasonings, via their mentals, based on the tangibles that can be seen, based on the factual the factual things that they have collected, and all these are done to convince one stance that Islamic values are good. So I think it's not enough to rationalize the Islamic values, to scientificize the Islamic values, without including the ghaib, the invisible domains of Islam. So I think this is also dangerous, the sanctification of Islamic values. The other thing is the realignment of Islamic values, which means that people are adjusting Islamic values to fulfill the contemporary worldly needs. Yeah, they are prepared to realign the Islamic values so that the Islamic values can be fit into the non-Muslim, non-Islamic philosophical underpinnings, non-Islamic philosophical framework, so that they can fulfill whatever that they want. And especially the desires they are looking for, they are intending for, are the worldly desires. Number 4 is the accommodation of Islamic values. Accommodation of Islamic values, which means that they are adopting the Islamic values into other philosophical framework to portray that Islam is tolerable, but please read it as not tolerable but apologetic nature of Islam. So meaning that they're ready to inject the Islamic values into in the case of business, for instance, into the philosophical underpinnings of the conventional business. And then by injecting with a few nas, say for instance with the verses of the Quran or the Hadith, and then they come to a conclusion that actually we are adopting the Islamic values and therefore our business is Islamic, even though they do not really break up the philosophical underpinnings of the conventional business. So using the Islamic, we have to beware. Yeah, we have to be aware of the use of Islamic values within the philosophical, within the conventional Western ethnocentric philosophical framework. So I think that's all that I need to say here. And inshallah, if there's any questions, we can ask. And if Pak Asno is still around, and probably inshallah, Pak Asno will help me to answer the question if I cannot answer it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Muhammad Syukri Saleh, for the very insightful topic on the innovation and values in Islamic business. If I may conclude a little bit, key takeaway that from this presentation is there are state of meaning of innovation, and there are an ideal total innovation. We need 3 no's, which is no imitation, no competition, and no benchmarking. And also to be able to innovate, it's not only innovation that must be Islamic, but the business must be so. So there are 7 principles that guarantees the dynamics of Islam in business innovation. The first one is mode, the second one is actor, the third one is time scale, and then also the framework. The 5th one is methodology, the 6th one is means, and the 7th is ultimate aim. And also beware, Professor also mentioned about the beware of Islamic values in business that is trapped in contemporary world. For example, the accommodation of Islamic values in other philosophical framework, and also rationalizing Islamic values via scientific reasoning, for example, mental, tangible, factual, to convince someone about this is Islamic value in business. All right, so for students and for participants, if you have any question, you can raise your hand, or you can ask your question in Q&A section, or even in the chat section. I will deliver the question to Professor. Okay, this is one question. There is no name, but I will read the question for Professor. Excuse me, the more I understand Islam, especially about usul fikih law, the more I scary or afraid with sins. What must Muslim entrepreneur do to solve misunderstanding about fikih that holds innovation?
Yeah, thank you for the questions. Yeah. I think the question portray a very good news to the person who asked, yeah, because when you learn something and you get confused, you are learning something actually, because the knowledge that you have stimulate your thinking and also make you start to think, yeah, of things, yeah. When you talk about fiqh and innovation, definitely there are terms which the Islamic scholars call ijtihad. So ijtihad, which means that they innovate something, a fatwa or a hukum, a regulation, based on their either a Quran hadith or ijma and qiyas, and especially the ijtihad is done to conclude on something or some problems which do not have a direct reference from Quran and hadith. So the Islamic scholars sit down and try to think, trying to discuss and all that, and come back with a fatwa, with a regulation to fit the positions of the hukum of the regulation on that. So I think there are a lot of space in fiqh to innovate, and especially through the ijtihad, inshallah. Thank you. So, for instance, the most recent things that they are doing now, for instance, with maqasid sharia, with maqasid sharia, Imam Ghazali and after that Shatibi were discussing about maqasid sharia from the ibadah perspective. But then now, alhamdulillah, many brothers and sisters in Islamic economics, and in fact in almost many fields, they use maqasid sharia to think about the implementation of maqasid sharia in this contemporary world. So inshallah, fiqh gives you a very wide space, vast space to innovate, inshallah.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor. For the second question, we have one question from another anonymous, but I hope this question is helpful. Okay, in this disruptive era, do you think Sharia business can attract many consumers in a company? Because as we can see nowadays, people are more comfortable with common business or conventional business, the one that not use Sharia, because they think that they all same. Example like conventional bank is more popular than Sharia one. So what do you think? Do you think Sharia business can attract many consumer for the companies?
Yeah, definitely. As a Muslim, I'm convinced that Islamic business can attract a lot of people. Yeah. Apa ni? Say for instance, say for instance, one thing that now which can attract a lot of people, including non-Muslims, is the halal business, for instance. Yeah? Halal business is based on the Islamic business. Even though non-Muslims are looking more into the profit, the revenues, the markets of the Islamic, of the halal consumers, but then halal business as an Islamic business are now becoming a trend, and also the expanding. And in Malaysia, for instance, we are establishing a halal hub, and our logo, our Malaysian halal logo, now I use in all over the world and acknowledged by people and all that. And then the halal is the best example the Islamic business can expand and can attract the people. Yeah, but unfortunately, at the moment, those people, those businessmen who are attracted to halal business are the non-Muslims. So our halal business nowadays is being dominated by the non-Muslims and also by the multinational corporation, such as Nestle, Danone, and all that. Yeah. So even though there are Muslims who are involved in the halal business, but we are doing that at the micro, medium, small enterprise rather than at the multinational level. So now we have our Islamic business, and it is very attractive, but it has been grabbed by the non-Muslims. It has been. Why? Because the Muslims themselves are not so confident with the Islamic business, and they keep on accusing Islamic business, such as Islamic banking, by saying that it is actually it's not Islamic. It is still based on the conventional banking system, and with all that. That's why I agree with that. That's why I was saying just now that if we were to innovate, if we were to introduce an Islamic, a purely, a really Islamic business, then we have to come out of the Western ethnocentric conventional framework to establish our framework, our own framework, and then grow from within that Islamic framework, inshallah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor. We have another question from Saskia. She asked about in Indonesia we have pegadaian. We call it pawn shop. So people can pawn the products and then they get in exchange for money, and then the next period they can reimburse it and get the product back. So for banking, Sharia banking, everybody knows about it. But how about pawn shop with Sharia concept? Do you think pawn shop can be changes or added to the Sharia concept? What do you think?
Yeah, this is also definitely that we can. Yeah, definitely. And in fact, in Malaysia, we have done that. We have done that. We have done that. Yeah. Apa ni, the pawn shops, in Arabic they call it arrahno. Yeah, arrahno. Yeah, arrahno. Yeah. People who has little money, but then they have the collateral, like for instance, they have the jewelry and all that. They can go to the pawn shops, the arrahno, yeah, put the jewelry there, the collateral there, and then the arrahno will give the money. And then when they return the money, when they pay the money, and then the pawn shop will return the jewelry. Right? The conventional business probably ask a questions, yeah. How do they have the profit? How come a pawn shop can have a profit? Yeah, because when you get the money from the arrahno, when you pay back, you have to pay back exactly of the amounts that you have borrowed from the yeah. So there are two things. In Malaysia, one of the first arrahno is the state of Terengganu. So they don't get the profit. So what they do is this, yeah, the government inject the money into the arrahno. Yeah, they inject the money into the arrahno. They give they give the borrowings of the money to the people, and then they keep the jewelry. So when the people come to take back the jewelry, the people at the arrahno are asking the clients whether they want to do the hibah, yeah, to contribute a little bit. So it is free actually. They don't have to contribute, but they are willing to contribute. They can contribute in whatever amounts that they want to contribute. But then still, with the amount that they get from the hibah, they don't have, the arrahno don't have much money. They don't have much money to pay the workers, to pay the employees. And then, but then the government keep on injecting the money to support the arrahno, to help the poor, to help to not the poor, to help the people who come, the clients, yeah? Because the people who comes to arrahno, they are not poor. They have something. They have some valuable things that they can put into the arrahno. The poor do not have anything, yeah? So actually, arrahno serve more of a middle class Muslim who has a little bit of wealth, to take the money from arrahno, putting their wealth, the jewelry, the cultural in the arrahno system. So the first things to do is that the government themselves injecting the money to help the middle class to say, for instance, to run their business or to get the capital, all that. And the government is helping them through the arrahno. But then after that, not many government likes the idea. They want a little bit of, not really profit, but at least they can cover the salary of the operations or arrahno and all that. yeah, the operational cost, the salary of the workers, of the employers, employees, and all that. So what they do is that whenever a person comes to put their jewelry or anything in there, so they get the upah, meaning that you put your valuables in our arrahnu. Yeah, we take care of the arrahnu. We take care of the valuables, and you need to pay for that. Yeah, you need to pay for that. So they are paying the upah, uh, uh, not the profit. Yeah, not the profit, but the upah. So they're taking the upah from that, and it depends on the values of the valuables, and then they get the money from there, and that becomes the machines for them, the capital for them to run the arrahnu. So it's happening in Malaysia. Then inshallah it is quite potential, because nowadays Islamic financial systems nowadays, Islamic banking only serve the people with money, and the people with less money, but they have the valuables, they have the lands, all of that, so that they can borrow from the banks, and then Arrahnu helps serve the middle class with a little bit of valuables, and then they can use the Arrahnu to get the capital to run their business. At the moment, we also have zakat for the poor, yeah. And in fact, there are zakat institutions who give the zakat to the poor, to distribute the zakat to the poor, to do the business. So now, alhamdulillah, at the moment, almost all levels of society are now getting the benefits from the Islamic financial system, inshallah. Thank you.
I have another question from our colleague, Mrs. Lohana. She's saying, thank you for sharing. It's really interesting that you share with us to be aware of Islamic values in doing business. And as far as she knows, Islam is rahmatan lil alamin. So when the world is adopting Islamic values in their business activities or in their daily life, she thinks it was really great. And could you give us some example why we have to be aware of that? I mean, why is this important?
You mean the values, why we have to be aware of the Islamic values, the contemporary Islamic values at the moment?
The concept of Islamic values.
Or the concept of Islamic values. So as what I was saying just now, that people tend to use the Islamic values for the benefit of this world, not of the world hereafter. And therefore, in order to convince the people that Islamic values are good, so they try to, the first things that I was saying just now is try to scientificize the Islamic values to fulfill the satisfactions of the non-Muslims. And then also they try to accommodate the Islamic values within the framework of the non-Muslim framework, business framework. And also they try to universalize the values, meaning that as a whole, we are not actually, the people who are using the Islamic values for the benefits of the worldly profits and also revenues. They are actually using the Islamic values and not conceptualizing or redefining what is the Islamic values from Islamic perspective, rather than taking the values from the conventional business and then use it for the sake of the worldly benefit. Okay? So for instance, if we go back to the concept of work, for instance, definitely in a business we have the workers. We have the workers, and then if, for instance, one woman stops from working in that company, and then the people with the Islamic, with the so-called Islamic values, unredefined Islamic values, they'll say that, look, pity her, she was working in our company nicely, getting the money, getting the wages, getting the salary, but now he stopped working now. So she has no work at the moment. So, but according to Islam, yeah, working at home as a housewife, it is also working actually. But the different concept, this is two different concepts. Yeah? Though conventional business, working means that doing something and getting money, doing something and getting money. While in Islam, yeah, uh, you work, you are saying that you are working whenever you do something and getting reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not necessarily the money, but also the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the concept of work is very different from the concept of work in Islamic, in conventional business. Also the concept of poverty, for instance, yeah, from Islamic, from conventional business, poverty is is seen through the level of incomes. Yeah? But in Islam, it's not only that. We'll also deal with the poverty of the spiritual domains of the people. So instead of getting the tangible as income, we are also using the intangible things, which is within ourselves. So when when we take into consideration of all that spiritual things, and then the concept of poverty is very different from the concept of poverty understood and defined with the conventional business. This is just a few examples, and I think that's why it is quite dangerous, and we have to beware with that kind of usage of the so-called Islamic values.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor, for the answer. We still have 7 minutes, and we still have one or two more questions. The question is what she get from this is from our colleague Mrs. Raisa. What she get from our from your presentation is that doing imitation is wrong, right? So, but at the moment there are so many products that being imitated in the world, even in Indonesia or maybe in Malaysia as well, and it attract a lot of consumers. So, what do you think on this phenomenon?
No problem. You can imitate the products, but you cannot say that you are actually innovating the products. You are actually involved in innovation. Because the imitating means you follow whatever that people are doing. Yeah. And then you will end up by becoming the followers, not the leaders. Innovation means being a leader. You innovate, you innovate some things. You lead the way forward. Yeah. But then if you imitate, you are not actually leading. You are following. And for the people who are imitating something, some products, and say that they are actually innovating, it is not true. And in fact, the word modification, modifying, is much more better than innovation. Yeah. So actually, they are modifying the products by imitating the existing products to produce the so-called new products. Right? Yeah.
Can I say something on that one, Bu Arum?
Yes, of course. From Pak Dedi.
Hasnul dengan Hasnul, Bu.
Oh, Pak Hasnul. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor. I think we are talking about innovation from different perspective. Yeah. So let me share this slide. Because dimension of innovation, there are 3 dimensions actually. The first one will be radical innovation. Let me share this slide.
Yeah, we can see your slide, Pak Hasnul.
Already, yeah, sorry. Let me go to the slide. Sorry. So based on what I know, maybe I'm wrong. So please correct me, Professor, if I'm wrong. Innovation, there are some dimension of the innovation. Starting from the very small one, which we call it incremental innovation, or very radical one, new to the world. Yeah. What I discuss is more or less on incremental. You are right. Copying, like any innovative thinking, like from vertical thinking, from what the product, you increase something like this camper. This happen now in the world, but not really the radical one. I agree with you. It's only incremental. like a process. We want to improve the process, reduce the speed, increase the speed, reduce the number of process. That's also innovation, but incremental. Now, what I explain actually start from incremental or maybe something in the middle, which is new to enterprise. But what you are doing is the right thing from the top one, which is the something quite new. Don't let something, don't copy from others. Don't, in Indonesia, we call it ATM, yeah? What is it? Modify, something like that. Observe, copy, and modify. Sometimes company, that only on the left part. So I think we need to understand also that some innovation is also on the left side. That's what I like to see that from that dimension. But if you want to be a radical, we need to be more than just innovation, maybe invention, really something new. That's my thing, my 1 cent to the discussion. Thank you. Terima kasih, Bu.
Thank you, Pak Hasnul. Professor Sukri, do you want to say
Yes,
something?
thank you very much, Pak Asnol. I agree very much with what you are saying. We are looking innovation from a different perspective. You are looking from the conventional business perspective, and I'm looking from the Islamic perspective. Yeah, and for this, I think I can accept your ideas. Actually, by using the incremental innovation, the enterprise innovation, the radical innovation, it is a process actually. Yeah, it's more of a process of doing things. And I agree with you that actually we cannot do at once. Yeah, in the first place, truth by doing the radical innovations, we needed to change totally the things that we are in. Yeah, we need to have a kind of evolutionary approach rather than revolutionary approach. So I agree with that, and therefore I think the principle is this. Yeah, the philosophical underpinning is this: innovations means a total creations of things, yeah, rather than imitating of things. That is called but along the process, yeah, definitely we have to start from below a little bit, and then becoming higher and higher, and hopefully that one day, yeah, we can change the world, inshallah, with our innovation, inshallah. So I'm sure that the innovators, yeah, in the business world are also doing that. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they start with small things and then start what Pak Asnul was saying, incremental. And the incremental process is, yes, and it's more of an evolutionary process, yeah. Because, say, for instance, if you reject everything that we have now, yeah, and then we want to create a new things, the totally new things, that is impossible. This is impossible in this real world. Yeah, I agree with you, Pak Asnul. Thank you very much for your opinion.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay. Thank you, Professor and Pak Hasnul, for the 2 cents to contribute to the Pak Sukri perspective. Okay, so I think it's time for the next speaker. Thank you so much, Pak Sukri. You can stay in the room and watch the next speaker from Taiwan National Central University. Thank you very much, Pak Sukri.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, we have our third speaker today. His name is Professor Ben Roido. He's from Taiwan, from National Central University in Department of Business Administration. And a little bit of his background. He studied Bachelor in National Taiwan University. He also got the Master of Art from Columbia University Teachers College, concentrate on human resource management, organizational change, and consultation. And he's also got his PhD from University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. I'm sure that this university is really good. And he's studying organizational and quantitative psychology. And he's also top 10% of graduate students across the entire Illinois campus and SAICHI. And he's past president of SIOP. Okay, I don't know the acronym for that, but maybe Professor can explain later. And his working experience from National Taiwan University, and then he is also becoming a research fellow 1 year in National Taiwan University. He's also doing in charge in international program in National Taipei University of Nursing and Health Sciences, and he's at the moment is assistant professor in National Central University. He's also done several projects with global companies such as American Institute of CPA, American Dental Association, also Romanian American University in Romania. Also in the UK, he's been doing some project with Career Harmony and Manpower Group. In Indonesia, he's already been doing some project with AIMI, Universitas Brawijaya, Universitas 11 Maret, and Universitas Negeri Malang. Okay, I think the floor is yours, Professor. You can start the presentation. I'm sorry, I think you still mute your mic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for inviting me to join your innovation festival. Today I'm going to talk from a different perspective, that is from creativity to sustainable innovation. Let's see. The main idea behind that is because before you can start anything innovative, you should have some ideas about what you want to do. So that's why I think it's important to deal with creativity. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes, because I'm not quite familiar with Zoom, even though I have used it a few times, but it takes time to practice. So I'm going to briefly introduce myself and spend a little bit more time to talk about creativity, as well as define what is innovation. And then I will present a few cases of innovation that meets sustainable development goals, United Nations SDGs, and then provide some guidance for the future. So like the whole has introduced me, that I grew up in Taiwan and went to National Taiwan University, Columbia University, and University of Illinois to get my degrees. SIOP stands for Society for Industrial and Organizational Psychology. So this is probably the most important association in our field of organizational psychology. That's my advisor, not me. And I have done a few works in different university and different associations, as well as conducting a lot of global projects. So what is creativity? We can define creativity as the ability to produce work that is useful and novel. So the definition is, the focus is not just on the novel, because it can be novel to you, but not novel to others. And another thing is creativity has to be useful. So the idea of useful is you should be able to address some problems. So for example, let's say if you have an ulcer in your small intestine, there used to be a problem because you either need to do an endoscopy or colonoscopy. You go from the mouth or go from your rear. But the problem is, with either kind of endoscopy or colonoscopy, it is impossible to reach the full length of the small intestine. So the problem is, how can we tell which part of the small intestine is having some issues, such as ulcer or bleeding? So that comes with the invention of a camera pill that is on the upper right corner here. So this kind of pill that you can digest it, and then during the process of digestion, you will take pictures, and then the doctor can be able to tell which part, there's actually a GPS built-in to locate where the pill is at, as well as where the ulcer is at. So you can see that this is an idea that is useful and novel. But the problem with this is you need to have the technology to support you to do this kind of work. That's where innovation falls, because innovation needs to be actually address the problem, as opposed to creativity. It is not necessary that you can solve the problem at the time, but you have a prototype or some thinking about what to do. So in other words, it is very likely that you may have a first prototype, but then it may not work. So that's why you want to do invitation again and again. So for example, in this video clip, I say I'm not going to click on it because I'm not sure whether I will have enough time because this is actually a talk of 3 hours that I try to condense it in in an hour. So I'm going to skip all of the videos. Also, after the conference, if you want, you can browse through all the videos. So history of the Walkman. For those of you who are old enough, you can tell that a Walkman is a portable cassette player that you can listening to music while on the go. That was a good invention because you can bring music with you. I mean, the music you like with you, as opposed to you can just listening to the FM radio broadcast. And so the first generation of the Walkman, you can see on the left panel that there is no headset attached to it. So that means everybody will be listening to what you are listening to. But then there is an invention of the headset that can be attached to the Sony or Walkman. So in other words, from creativity to innovation, this is a common practice that you just try to address the issue. It may be successful or not successful, but eventually you want to come up with a solution to address the issue. So traditionally, we view creativity as something of little importance. In other words, like John D. Rockefeller, the billionaire who thinks that he can just spend money to hire people like scientists to do things for you. So it is not necessary he will have to hire people good at chemistry or physics. But in today's world, it is critical to have creativity and innovation in-house because it is a very competitive global environment. If you have those experts in-house, then that means you have better chance to survive the competition. So what is creativity? The old definition refers to the production of new ideas. So as long as you have some thinking about it, something new, then that can be considered creativity. But today, the definition changed a little bit, that it's not just about new ideas. It's about the production of high quality, original, and elegant solution to problems. So yes, you can still have new ideas, but if the idea is not of good quality, or it is not very original, or it does not solve anything or create issues, then that's probably not a good creativity. So in other words, for a good creativity, there are 5 noteworthy implications. So the first one is creativity is a form of performance. In other words, that is something you can observe whether the person is doing the task or the people together trying to get something done. So in other words, since you can observe creativity directly, so we should not confuse creativity with some other variables such as personality, motivation, etc., etc. The second implication of creativity is it is a product of human cognition. If you have ever studied psychology like I did, the human mind is a very complex thing. So that's why I put the figure over here that on the left hemisphere in your brain, that you are very good at using language or reasoning or mathematics or logic to solve problems. But on the right hemisphere, you can see that there are a lot of artistic dots because in the right hemisphere, we handle something such as the whole, the figure. So in other words, you should try to use both of your brains, the 2 hemispheres, in order to come out of good ideas or new ideas. So that's why it's a very complex process. So in other words, you should try to gain as much experience as possible such that you may be able to come up with creative ideas. The third implication of creativity is today we prefer to use the term creative problem solving or CPS. And this is a high level cognition. In other words, it's not just you do things randomly or through trial and error, but instead you will formulate a strategy before you can come up with a solution. So in other words, we do not have creativity automatically. We need to think, use our experience to gain insights into the problems. So that's why it is considered to be quite cognitive demanding. The first dimension refers creativity as a conscious decision. In other words, you have to spend time, invest scarce resources to generate new ideas that are designed to solve the problem. So this is going to be, a lot of decisions and choices to be made with regard to how much time and resources you want to spend on addressing an issue. Then the number 5 implications of creativity refers to the different levels of creativity that may occur. Even though most of the time we study creativity in the individual levels, but it is very likely that at group level as well as organizational levels, you may also see different kinds of creativity. For instance, if you do creativity contests in a group settings, it's very likely that there may be some thinking based on other group thinking to come up with novel ideas. Similarly, at the organizational level, if the company has a culture to encourage something like a brainstorming or like Google Garage, for instance, to allow employees to spend 20% of their work time doing on things unrelated to their task, is a way to foster the development of creativity. That is also a reasonable solutions to foster creativity to develop in your organization. So in other words, usually we start creativity from the new ideas or creative thoughts. So usually if a problem that is novel, complex, and ill-defined, then it's very likely that you can come out with multiple solutions. So here I'm going to ask all of you to think for maybe like 30 seconds to look at the figure on the upper right panel. So my questions to ask you to solve based on your intuition, for instance, is to try to think of ways to remove snow. You can see that in Indonesia, it's likely that you can see snow in Indonesia, I believe. So this is going to be a novel problem to you. And obviously, there can be several ways to address the snow removal issues. The figures here, you can see that the driveway of the house is buried by snow. So I think if you are sitting in front of the computer, you can try to type your responses about how am I going to solve the issues about snow removal. I'm going to stop for 10 seconds to drink some water. And if you want, you can type in your responses in the Q&A program. Anyone has any ideas? How are you going to remove snow from the driveway? Difficult, right? Because most of you have never experienced snow. Yes. So that's why this is going to be a very interesting problem because you have never encountered before. And that if it is the first time you run into this issue, you will have to think about some possible solutions. So in other words, this is a creative problem for you guys and for me as well. But snow is a problem in many parts of the world, in the Europe or in the US with high altitude that they usually have the snow issue. So obviously they will have to invent a lot of resolutions to address the problem. So I'm going to show that some of the solutions that has been provided. So you can see that on the upper left panel here, this is a snow shovel, which is probably the most frequently used device to remove snow. And the term to remove snow is actually wrong because we did not remove the snow totally. We just move it somewhere else such that the driveway can be clear and then the car can be, drive out of the garage. So the snow removal term is actually wrong. it is a snow shovel to move the snow somewhere else. So that means that the snow still exists, but just exists in a different place, not on your driveway. So the snow shovel is usually useful to remove snow from the driveway or from the ground. And on the middle panel here, this is also can be called a snow shovel, but it's more like a snow brush that is very useful to remove snow that is accumulated on the windshield of your car, because snow shovel will be too big and bulky to do that kind of thing. So basically, you can use this kind of snow brush to remove the snow from the driveway. And on the upper right panel here, you can see this is a device that you can spread silt on your driveway. So this is actually not it is not something you can do after the snow has already fallen and accumulated on your driveway, because it will be too late to spread silt on the driveway. So in other words, maybe the night before, the weather forecast tells you that tomorrow morning or during the midnight, there will be a lot of snow accumulating. Then the night before, you should start to use this device to spread silt on the driveway, such that it is less likely for snow to accumulate a lot on your driveway. So that means that initially the snow fallen on your driveway will be melted by the silt, such that the next morning you will have much less snow to remove. And on the lower left panel here, you can see this is a machine that can be used to do a similar function like the snow shovel. But snow shovel relies on manpower. So after a few shovels, you may get tired and exhausted. So a device like this that we call it a snow blower. So again, so it gets the snow from the button, and then it will blow to another place, usually in the courtyard, such that you can have the driveway clean. And in the middle panel here, there is this thing called snow sleeve, because if you use snow brush on the top, it can still be somewhat time consuming because the windshield is usually a very large space. So someone invented the snow sleeve device such that if you put the device on the windshield the night before, then in the morning you can just put your hands onto the handles and then remove the snow in a big pool easily. So that's also a possible solution to snow removal. And finally, what is this on the lower right panel? For me, or all of you who grew up in the tropical or subtropical zone, maybe the first idea about snow removal is, oh, I want to melt it to make it into water. So this is a device that can heat up the driveway such that the snow may be melted to become water to flow somewhere else. So initially, you may think that this is an elegant solution to a problem. But in reality, it's rarely likely that you will do this kind of thing. Because first of all, if you want to heat up the driveway, that means you need to have energy to push that. So that's why there is the cord over here that needs to be attached to the power outlet such that the device can heat up the driveway. The second issue with this is, sure, it is possible that you may melt snow, but because the temperature can be so cold that the water you melted will be frozen, become ice elsewhere. And you know that ice will be a much more serious issue than snow, because snow does not necessarily means that the driver will be quite slippery, but ice guarantees that you may fall or the car may be skid away in the frozen driveway. We call it black ice because you can hardly tell that it is ice because it will look like water on it. So you can see that on the lower right panel here, this is probably not a very feasible solution to a snow removal issue. But that's okay, because if you have never experienced snow in your life, you will not think about the practical issue about that. So this is just to show you the idea that yes, you can have several creative thoughts on a novel, well-defined problem, but the solution may not be a good one because it may be not quite practical or it may be too costly to do this kind of thing. And usually we can say that there are two major types of problem. The first one is called insight problem. So that means that you may need to shift your perspective such that you view the problem in a novel way to solve the issue. So you can see that on the upper right panel here, this is what we call the matchstick problem. So the task is to rearrange the 6 matches to form 4 equilateral triangles. So most of you will probably doing things in the horizon. So you will put use 4 matches to form 2 triangles on the plan initially. But then you have an issue about how can I form another 2 triangles using the remainder of the 1 matchstick to form the triangle. So that means that you may have to shift your perspective because you will realize that this is like a mission impossible if I just want to address the problem in a single flat dimension. So the answer to this matchstick problem is you should try to rearrange the matches into a pyramid, doing it in a vertical way such that you will have four triangles forming a pyramid. So the total of 6 matches can be able to solve this problem elegantly. So this is what we call insight. You need to think as opposed to do everything really, really hard. So in this video, I think because this video has no sound, so I think we'll be okay if we just look at it quickly. I'm not sure whether you can see it. I hope you can see the video here.
Yes.
Okay, good. So you can see that the chimpanzee is trying to address a problem about getting the banana that is hanging high on the sky or over the fence. So instead of doing trial and error, he was trying to put the boxes available to him and then try to obviously initially he was not quite successful because the boxes is kind of big. But you can see that he tried really hard to put the boxes on top of one another, and then eventually he will be used other tools such as sticks to help him to get high and then get the banana out of the from the sky. So this is what we call an insight problem because if you just do it randomly, let's say you use a stick and then just try to hit it, it may not be quite successful. But if you can spend some time to think about possible solutions to the problem, then eventually you will be successful. This chimpanzee got lucky that by jumping high, then he was able to get the banana. So this is the first type of problem. We call it the insight problem that you think carefully. And there are 3 major types of insight problem: verbal, mathematical, and spatial. Verbal, you may consider this kind of insight problem a word game. In other words, you try to figure out the answer through the meaning of the words. So the question here asks about Marsha and Major were born on the same day of the same month of the same year to the same mother and the same father, yet they are not twins. How is that possible? They are born on the same day, same parents. How come they are not twins? It is weird, right? And the answer to that question is they are not twins, but they are triplets. So that's why I said this is a word game, because sure, they are not twins, but it is possible that they have other, brothers and sisters that were born on the same day with the same parents. So this is a verbal insight problem that you need to shift your perspective from your existing pattern. In terms of mathematical problem, this is a little bit difficult. So you can see that there are 10 bags, each containing 10 gold coins, all of which look identical. So among the 9 bags, each coin is 16 ounces. But there is 1 bag that the coins are 17 ounces each. So how can it be possible that you can just use a weighing machine a single time to use a weighing scale to determine which bag contains a 17-ounce coin. So this is a mathematical insight problem because you can only formulate your equation for a single time because you can only put the bags on the weighing scale one time only. Honestly, this is a very difficult problem. So I'm going to let you know the answer to that problem. So you will take a different amount of coins from each bag. So for instance, you can take 1 coin from the first bag, 2 coins from the second, 3 coins from the third, etc., etc. And then you weight all of the coins. So if all the bags weigh 16 ounces, so the total of the coins you took out will be 55 ounces because you just add everything from 1 to 10. So if the amount is in excess of the 55 ounces, then you will determine which bag contains the heavier 17-ounce ones. For example, let's say the weighing scale gives you the answer of 57, that is 2 ounces over 55, then you know that bag 2 has the 17-ounce coins. So this is, again, you have to shift your perspective and try to see whether you can utilize your existing knowledge to make a guesstimate about what is a possible solution to this problem. The third type of insight problem deals with spatial problem. So you can try to draw 4 continuous straight lines connecting all the dots without lifting your pencil from the paper. So this is what we refer to a 9-dot problem, that you use 4 straight lines to connect the dots. So this is an example that you have to think outside of the box. So for instance, I can form a vertical line here. I think it's probably better to do this, the slash first. So from the upper right corner, go to lower left corner, and then go up outside of the 9 dots, and then go from upper left to lower right, and then come back. So in this instance, I use 4 straight lines and to connect the 9 dots. So this is, again, that you have to shift your perspective. The second type of problem we usually deal with is called divergent thinking. So in other words, it's not try to converge into an idea based on the evidence available, but instead you will try to break your topic down its various component parts in order to gain insight about various aspects of the topic. So this is why sometimes it is encouraged to do brainstorming, because everybody involved in the brainstorming session will need to come out different suggestions or idea to address the problem. And then you will do the analysis later. So if your organization want to do brainstorming nicely, it will be useful to have your employee to do a self-analysis and a topic analysis. In terms of self-analysis, you may ask yourself the following questions, such as how do I spend my time? How do I know about? What do I like? What bothers me? What are my beliefs, values, and philosophies? And you can see that people from different backgrounds will obviously have different answers to these kind of self-analysis questions. In other words, when you do self-analysis, you want to utilize the diversity of your participants to come up with interesting ideas. In terms of topic analysis, you try to deal with the problem, the topic you want to solve. So for example, how would you describe something? What are the causes of something? And that something is the problem or the issue you want to deal. So for instance, if you want to resolve the issue about snow removal, then you can replace something with snow removal. So how would you describe snow removal? What are the causes of snow removal? What are the effects of snow removal, etc., etc.? And now we can say that if you want to do creativity well, then it should be depend on the person. The person ideally should be an expert. That means the person will have several years of experience to the domain of work they do. So for example, let's say if you want to address a physical problem, obviously you probably want to ask physics professors as opposed to freshman physics student to address the problem, because professors are usually a lot more experienced and be able to recognize the topic or issues behind the problem. And in terms of creative problem solving, there are 3 or 4 steps. So the first step started with the generation of ideas. So you can see that you want to find out what is your objective to identify the goals, and then you gather the data and clarify the problem, and eventually you generate the ideas. And then the next step, you will try to come up with possible solutions to the problem. So you will find facts, find data. You will ask yourself about who, what, where, when, why, and how as a way to explore your data. And then finally, the third stage deal with problem finding or framing. So that means that you will actually come up with possible solutions to the issue you want to address. So this is the whole creative problem solving process. In other words, this is not something that you just do it in an instant. You may need to keep on the problem solving cycle or going over and over again in order to come up with a lot of suggestions. So the final stage is to implement your action, solution finding. And then you may also try to do acceptance finding or building acceptance as a way to come out with the first possible solution. How about innovation? We can define innovation as the crafting or reworking of creative problem solution into new products, processes, or services. So in other words, sure, you can use creativity to deal with aircraft design, but whether you can actually build the new aircraft depends on innovation. So I don't have time to show you this video, but this video talk about the many innovation that was done for Boeing to develop the 787 Dreamliner aircraft. Some of you who have flown 787 can probably tell that in the windows on the 787 is significantly larger than different types of airplanes. Not to mention that there is no blind on the windows, but you use this kind of device to change the amount of light that can go inside the cabinet. This is innovation because it reduces the weight of the blinds as well as to provide a larger space such that you can more able to enjoy the flying experience if you are flying a 787. So that's an innovation because you use creativity to solve the problem. So in Boeing 787 Dreamliner, you can see that there are different countries and different organizations to provide different materials such that everything is combined together. So in other words, the technology must be able to support your creative source. Otherwise, it's impossible to do this kind of thing. Boeing 787 use a lot of composite materials that is lightweight and that can be formulated into different things as opposed to the old way of using metals or aluminum to form the main body. So that's why the fuel efficiency of 787 is much greater. And before you start to do innovation, there is a warning signal because innovation is a high-risk venture. Most innovative ideas do not become successful new products. So you can see that you may start from 5,000 different compounds and eventually there's only one drug that is built. And you can also see that it may take several years. Maybe you will try to do the discovery and preclinical trials for 3 to 6 years, and then actually engage in clinical trials and then get approval for the drug to be in the market. But if you want to invent something that is less challenging, the cycle or the time to develop the new product will be shorter. On the upper right panel here, you can see that I have several models of segways. But today it is impossible to buy segways because it's too heavy and not very easy to maneuver. Not to mention that the owner of the company actually got killed by driving one of the Segway. That is really terrible public relations nightmare. But the idea about Segway, this kind of device, has moved on these robotic mobility platforms such that it's less likely for you to fall and also allows you to move faster on a device like this. So yes, it is possible that you may come up with a solution, a product, but eventually it may not be the leading market leader. But your idea may foster other companies to think about some other elegant solution to the problem. So usually if you want to do innovation, you need to involve a lot of people, such as different parties in the organization, to come together to contribute to the creative problem solving. So that means that the organization as a whole will need to support this kind of innovative way. Here I have an example. I say this is a creative solution, not an innovative solution. Or maybe this one is okay, because Armorlight, a gun manufacturer in US, put out this advertising campaign, arguing that Armorlight is a work of art. So that you can see that famous figures such as the Mona Lisa is on the right, and so this figure is not very controversial because sure, reasonable. But this one raised a lot of issues because the statue of David is supposed to be the symbol of love and peace, and you let the statue of David to hold a gun that is designed to kill or to hurt people. That's not right. So that's why Italians were outraged by this ad, because you have the David's statue holding a rifle. So this is not an innovative solution because you did not solve the problem, but you create problems. Creative, yes, maybe, but not a good way to show your creativity. And like I said, you have to invest scarce resources to deal with creativity. So you should think carefully. And I believe you have heard about there are several ways to classify innovations, radical versus incremental, or product versus process innovation. So most of the innovation are incremental because you just modify or improve existing products or processes. It's rarely that you can come out something that is transforming the whole industry. One product over here is called the transistor. This is the foundation of the semiconductor, such that we can have all kinds of electronic devices to use. And this is a radical innovation because before this transistor, there is nothing you can deal or do with a similar device. So in other words, radical innovation, incremental innovation are more likely to happen because you just modify your existing products or processes. The second type of innovation deal with product versus process. So you can see that Intermill or Flexi Fuse is based on the idea that if I can use super glue to glue different things together, then if I can design a glue that can combine or heal the wound at the same time, then that would be nice. So when they develop this product into market, then obviously this is a new way to address the issue. So that's product innovation. And process innovation usually refers to the new ways of doing the business. So you can see that it used to be that for airlines, they will rely on travel agents to sell tickets. But today, it's rarely likely that you will buy tickets from travel agent, but because you can buy tickets directly from the airlines. So that can be considered a process innovation. So I still have like 5 minutes to talk about sustainable innovation. So I'm going to skip these slides because you probably are quite familiar with the 17 sustainable development goals, such as ending poverty, hunger, healthy, etc., etc. So I'll be focusing on the cases. So the first case I'm going to introduce is Google. Like I mentioned, that the business model of Google is designed to support their business strategy in terms of innovation. So all engineers are encouraged to spend 20% of their time working on their own project. So that's why they have the Google Garage. You can go through the link to watch the video. The second case I want to talk about is a vertical farm. So boundary farming is not the first one, but they are quite successful because they have the farm in the industry area in the US. This is a commercial. I think we have to wait for it to finish it. So you can see that it's just like you are working in factory, but this is very clean because you have vegetable grown vertically to save space, and the water and the fertilizers are all controlled. And you know that this is not the first one. So in other words, if you want to go into this kind of vertical farming business, you should think about what kind of vegetable you want to grow that can make you to earn big money. So for instance, many factories like this in Taiwan are growing herbs that can be dry to become Chinese medicine. Then that can be getting a huge profit because Chinese medicine herbs, usually you have to go into deep mountain to collect them. So if you are able to grow them in-house like this kind of vertical farm, that usually means that you can have better return of your investment. So this is an example of sustainable innovation that you can do vertical farm and try to maximize the economic benefit. The second example here is Zipline that use drone to deliver products. And in this example, Zipline can be used to deliver blood to remote hospital. This is can be quite useful because in a country such as Rwanda, that the infrastructure was not good. So if there is a need for blood transfusion, then the Zipline will just use the drone to get the drone to fly out. So this is also something that can be useful to get the things delivered to the destination. The third case I'm going to talk about is about Syntex. This is a company from Taiwan. So you know Taiwan has a pretty good recycling rate, probably the highest one in the world, because we have the pay-as-you-throw strategy. That means that you have to buy government-issued trash bags because you have to pay to throw trash away. So that means that we'll try everything possible to recycle, to reduce the waste. So let's say you have those plastic bottles. What are the end products of them? They make them to become fabric. But using recycled plastic bottle to form the materials for clothing is not a new idea. But what is, I think I need to copy this thing, hold on. But the issue is they combine the coffee grounds into the recycled plastic particles. Hold on, how to manage this?
We often wonder, how can we make human life better?
So the good thing about coffee ground is it can absorb humidity as well as to reduce the smell associated with it. So this is a good way to use recycled material that can control odor and then building into aesthetic clothes. So this is an interesting way. So that's why it's called the technical fiber. So here, I'm not sure you can see it. So if you can touch it, it actually feels warm, even though I have the air conditioner turned on. But this kind of material can actually be designed that way to be eco-friendly, to feel warm and cozy. And then I have yet another case that about motorcycles. In Taiwan, we have the market share of electric motorcycle are booming. So GoGo is a company that you can use your app to customize the display of your motorcycle. So you can change the lighting, or you can see that there is a solar panel that can be charged with the battery exchange system. So the idea is just like, you know, when your car runs out of gas, you will go to gas station and fill the tank. So that's why they have these kind of battery exchange systems that instead of waiting for the car or motorcycle to be charged, but you can just took out the battery out of your motorcycle and then replace it with the charged ones from one of the exchange stations. Actually, there are a lot more exchange stations than gas stations in the Metro Taipei area now. So this is also a possible solutions to deal with energy issues. And to sum up, sure, if you want to do sustainable innovation, you can start from looking at what you are good at. So you may want to look at your local business or responsible business to find out possible ways that you can get involved with sustainable innovation. Second of all, you can try to align your strategy with other organizations such as different governments. And then finally, you may want to focus on a few industries that may make you to have good use of your creative ideas. So this is to sum up my talk. Hope you like it. And I'm going to give the floor back to the host. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you for your very comprehensive topic and material today. You talk about creativity, and then also you talk about how innovation and creativity are working together. And also the last one, you talk about case study where we can align our innovation process and our product when we are doing innovation in a more sustainable. So we have to do, for example, you mentioned about the farm, vertical farming, that is in line with some number of SDG, and also other thing that Gogoro in Taiwan, which is in line with another number of SDGs. Okay, we will have a question and answer session right now. We open for 3 questions first. Is there any question for the for Professor? You can just type in the chat or Q&A forum, and then I will deliver the question to Professor. All right, question. We have one here. Can you give us the simple suggestion for how to build the innovation, since we most of the attendees here are undergraduate students?
I will say that you should first start with what interests you most. Just like I was saying, you can do self-analysis and topic analysis. But as an undergraduate student, I think you should try to figure out what are the things that interest you most. Because if you are interested in doing something, you are more likely to have the passion and energy to finish it. So you want to develop your interest and then try to make your interest to be your expertise. In other words, you want to make yourself as an expert in certain field. So that means that you need to have the passion to find out what things really interest you, and then keep on going, spend time to become the expert in that field, such that you can come up with creative ideas and innovative solutions.
Okay, thank you. We also have the second question. Where do you think innovation programs goes wrong? So something goes south, something goes missing and interrupted. Where do you think in the innovation process?
Yeah, I think that's a very common thing because like I mentioned that innovation is a high risk venture. It's very likely that you will not be able to successful or to come out with a reasonable or elegant solution. But the problem is you still have to keep on trying because one day, maybe in a coincidence or maybe there is an event that triggers the things that is beyond your control. So I would say that you just need to keep on trying every possible solutions. So for example, in the case of syntax, they were not very successful to begin with because they were not, initially they just want to, the founder of the company just wanted to continue his father's business to make blankets. But you know, making blankets or making fabric is a very energy consuming process. You have to use water and you use gas. That's all very energy, use a lot of energy. So Syntex actually found out a way to do waterless dye. So in other words, they can use almost no water to dye color because the idea is you make the color inside the fabric as opposed to dye the color when the fabric is done. So when you do that, then you don't need water to dye it. Obviously, they do not do it successfully in an instant. You know, using coffee ground, this way is a lot easier because, you know, when you make the fabric, you just combine it with the manufacturing process. But the waterless dye takes a lot of resources to innovate, to do R&D. But they were quite happy that they come up with a solution. Another instance of syntax is, you know, these days with COVID-19, there is a need for the protective gears like protective clothes. So syntax never designed clothes in that purpose. But since they are really good at make use of fabric, so they were actually able to have different colors or different patterns that is printed on the protected clothes. And so that is very successful business for them because many countries are in heavy need of protected clothes, and it's not just all white. The protected clothes can be colorful and to have pattern printed on it because it's just not those disposable. It is still disposable, but it's not that that will get decomposed quickly. So that's why I say that yes, you may fail initially, but if you are passionate enough about it, then you should keep on trying to eventually come out with a possible solution to the problem.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor. I think we have another, I think this is the last question. You mentioned about creativity and how we can do divergent thinking and also self-analysis. With that being said, do you think creativity is a talent or we have to develop our thinking into the creativity?
Creativity is something that can be learned. So the more experience you have, the better ideas you may have. So that's why I keep on saying that experience is a very important thing because you never know that what is going to help you in the future. Many of you heard about the story of Steve Jobs, that he took several courses in college and he doesn't like those required courses because he saw that those are not useful. But he took on a course about calligraphy, you know, different types of fonts that can be used. And he found it fascinating. So when he was developing the first Macintosh, he built those different fonts into it. That makes the computer more human as opposed to just like a typewriter that there is no feeling or emotion on it. So this is an example that, sure, he experienced that. He didn't know that what is going to be useful in the future. But in a few years, when he was trying to develop the first Macintosh computer, he was able to use what experience to solve the problem. I still remember that when the first time I saw a Macintosh, there was a program called Fruit. the psychoanalysis. So you can type in questions and then the program will give you answers, even though it may not be a good or ideal answer. But just like today, when you ask Google question, it will tell you something. So what you have experienced in the past will one day to help you to come up with interesting idea in the future. So when you are young, undergraduate students still have many years to come to actually go for work. I will encourage you try to spend a lot of time to experience everything around you, such that you may come out with creative ideas that can be used for innovation in the future.
Thank you so much for the answer, Professor, and the material. I think we are ready at the end of the session for this for today Business Festival. So I would like to conclude from our first, second, and the third speakers. It is very interesting to see that we have a very different perspective on each speaker, but we also have a very similar one. So basically, Pak Hasnul Suhaimi, he's the ex-CEO of Excel Indonesia. He's talking about how Excel Indonesia developed a very extreme innovation by putting a very lower cost in a cost strategy. And also in Professor Muhammad Shukri Saleh, he's talking about how Islamic business and Islamic development thinking and also concept has to do with innovation and Islamic business itself. And the last speaker today from Professor Ben Roydo. He's talking about how creativity and innovation can be molded and can be we can do the different thinking and we can do self-analysis. And for that being said, we are tend to do the innovation in a sustainability way according to the SDG 2030. Okay, it was a very lovely time. It was a very insightful time to have our three keynote speakers here today. Thank you so much for the attendees and also the colleague, our colleague here. And I will go back the floor to the MC, Mrs. Adele. Floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the very dynamic fruitful session on first day of Business Innovation Festival. We really appreciate to all of our keynote speakers today, Mr. Hasnul Suhaimi, Professor Muhammad Shukri Saleh, and the last one is Dr. Ben Roydu. Thank you for enlightening sharing your expertise today. After the seminar session, we have a virtual exhibition of 22 best products selected from management students. So the participant can visit our website bfest.com for looking the virtual exhibition, and also you can make a like footer there for each product. So the link will be appearing on chat room, followed by the abstention. Okay, so you can see for all of the attendants in the chat room, there is appear about the link of the abstention today.
Attendance list.
For the attendance list. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I thank you very much for your active participation in this seminar session and conference. I hope you enjoy the program. So, have a great day and thank you.
Bye. Bye, Professor.
I'm so tired of love songs, tired of love songs, tired of love songs, tired of love. Just wanna go home, wanna go home, wanna go home. Whoa. So tired of love songs, tired of love songs, tired of love songs, tired of love. Just wanna go home, wanna go home, wanna go home. Whoa. Strangers, I'm killing my lonely nights with strangers. And when they leave, I go back to our song. I hold on, hurts like heaven, lost in the sound. Birds cut season, like you're still around. I can't unmiss you, and I need you now.